first beer that I ever mashed in was a beer called Large Ass IPA. Yes, I don't know, like not competitively, but yes, I do know this. It smells weird. I'm like, it's probably she has a range. She has a yoga mat out where she has arranged eight Slim Jims in the shape of like a octagon coming back from that too, like coming back from giving birth. So the company that I work for did not have a parental leave policy. You're making mama. And yeah, that would probably be
You're making chihuahua.
That's really good blonde.
Brewsing Banter Podcast. Brewsing Banter Podcast. What up? Welcome to Brewsing Banter Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I would read this week.
Mama.
Nah, it doesn't taste like dirt. My name is Lou Belgium, ladies and gentlemen. I'm wondering,
Does Delaware have an actual culture? This is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world, politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair.
Ooh, we love you, Brewsing Banter Podcast.
what up? Welcome to Brewsing Banter Podcast, where the topic is the rockin' and the brew. Well, that be the fuel. I'm your host, Rob G, and with me, as always, the legendary Brew Crew. What's going on, Lou?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all right, and yourself?
Can't complain at all, man. It's a beautiful day in Newark, Delaware.
There you go. Welcome to all our listeners. If this is your first time listening, we're glad you have found us on these podcasts. You can listen to any podcast in the world, but I'm glad you found this one today.
Yes.
For our returning Brewers and Brewezettes, we are glad you have joined us again for another episode of Brewsing Banter Podcast, because we do have another great episode, and we do have another special guest. We don't want to waste no time, so we're just going to jump right in. We have the executive director of Brewers of PA, and also the director of brewing operations at Zero Day Brewing. We have Hannah Ison on the podcast. Let me bring her in.
Director.
hi guys.
Hello,
Welcome.
Oh, it works. Yes, behind the scenes.
Technology.
Welcome.
We are glad you can join us today. I don't know if let me do the hand clap again.
Yeah, I was the only one the first time.
Yeah. Well, because it was low. I didn't realize it was turned down.
Gotcha.
But before we get into everything, we always like to know what you're drinking on. Is somebody drinking on something? We're drinking today, and we always start with our guests. So, Hannah, are you drinking something today?
I am. So this is my new favorite beer right now. I think I can say that out loud.
Okay.
For many a years, Miller High Life was my favorite beer, which is not the most kosher thing to say when you work in craft beer, but also like one of the most normal things to say when you work in craft beer, I guess.
Yes, that's true.
But I found a locally brewed beer here in central Pennsylvania. They just released it a couple months ago, but I like it more than Miller High Life, and
All right.
I'm obsessed with it. It's Trogs Light Lager. So they have like their Trogs Pennsylvania Lager, their Trogs Dark Pennsylvania Lager, and now they have this Pennsylvania Light Lager, and it's 4.2%, 3 carbs, 98 calories. To me, that means it's healthier than a seltzer, and I love them. I love this beer.
Is that fairly new on the market?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I don't know how long ago they came out with it, but I want to say it was just within the last couple months. But
Okay. All right. Is it something that you think is going to be brewed on their normal schedule and brewed all the time?
my understanding is that, I think right now, I don't know if it's out in distribution at all right now, but I
Okay.
think that it will be in the future. That's my
Okay.
understanding. But don't
Okay.
quote me on that. Like, I'm not a part of their production team or
Yeah.
anything. But I do think that, I know I had to go to the brewery to buy this.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I don't think I'll have to go to the brewery to buy it forever. And
Mhm.
it is so good.
Is it in a glass right now?
No, it's in a can.
Yeah, because I think what did I have? Victory last week. They have a light lager, so it must be obviously they all would put
Yeah,
light
just
lager. So
trying-
yeah,
yeah.
they all would be.
Just those
And-
crushable, I don't know. But Yeah,
I love how you representing another brewery, but your new favorite beer is from a totally different one. That's respect. Cheers.
All right, Lou, you drinking on something?
As always, no, I'm drinking on water. It is high quality and delicious today. But I would like to shine a light on another podcast that's in craft beers called Being Black and Craft. It's with our girl Angie, the Undeniable Vixen on Instagram. She is out of Texas. They podcast every Monday. They go live. Check them out. They're on Instagram, Facebook, the internet, all that stuff, and they're on YouTube as well. So give them a shout out, give them a check out. Cheers.
All right. Okay.
I could do whatever I want. It's my segment.
Sure.
That's what you told me. That's what you told me.
I don't know if I remember saying that.
I feel like you did.
I said, what you drinking on? If you're drinking on water, okay.
Yep.
Now you throwing ads in there. I don't know.
Shouting out my people. Hi, Angie.
All right. What am I drinking on today? I am drinking on something. I'm drinking from our local brewery, Wilmington Brew cool. Here, not too far from where I am. It's the Excelente Especial. It's their Mexican lager. It's at 4%. There's the
that's
the
nice.
can.
I like that can.
It's real nice can. And the lager is good. Here it is in my glass. In my Brewers of PA glass. There you go.
Oh, look at you! Look at you! He's a brown noser. His nose is too brown.
Oh, me.
Well,
It's extra brown. Extra brown. You knew what kind of brown. But that's good. That's a good touch. That's a nice touch. I love that.
Exactly. We have the guest, the executive director on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nice. Yeah, nose being brown is always a nice touch sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it has a negative connotation.
This sidebar back to the beer. Does it tell you the ABV? I know sometimes Wilmington Brewworks doesn't.
I looked it up. It's 4%. So it's
okay.
Okay.
That was real light.
Drinker. I mean, it was like they really I think they brew it in anticipation of like Cinco de Mayo. So if you wanted to drink all day, I guess during Cinco de Mayo, easy drinker. Mm-hmm. This is one of they normally bring it back around this time every year. So I'm gonna say pass me another. So some of us are drinking on something.
We're all drinking on something.
Oh yeah, high quality H2O, right?
Yeah, it's delicious.
What makes it so high quality?
It comes out of a filter that flows all the way through from China.
What?
Remember? Do you remember that episode, Rob?
I do, but
yeah. So I just go with it. No, it's just high quality because I watch The Water Boy a lot. And I like saying high quality H2O when I'm drinking water. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are drinking on something. So once again, I said we have Hannah Ison on the podcast. So without further ado, as we always say, we want to give you another round of applause. And we want to know who you are, how you got started, and the proverbial floor is yours.
Cool. So I'm Hannah Ison. I am the executive director of the Brewers of Pennsylvania, which is the state brewing guild here in PA. I'm also almost 9 years. It'll be 9 years in a week and a half into my professional brewing career. So I'm also make beer and have for a long time. Yeah, I mean, it's a wild ride, this industry, but I am in it. I've been in it, and I'm not a whole year into being the executive director of the Brewers of Pennsylvania, but it has been a really successful 10 months so far. Mm-hmm. And I think that my perspective coming from being a person who has made beer has given me a really unique insight into that side of the industry that helps me relate to all kinds of different people at different phases of their planning and their breweries and their problems and why they're so bad at responding to emails and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I love where I'm at right now. It is definitely, I want to say it's organized chaos, but like if I had an administrative assistant, it would be organized, but it's not organized. It's just kind of
Now you said you've been in the industry for about 10 years. So what did you do prior to becoming a part of brewing?
So I was working in grassroots organizing. I was kind of bouncing all over the country, running campaigns in different major cities across the US. I worked in Las Vegas, Phoenix, New York, just coordinating campaigns and trying to get people elected based on certain issues that they cared about. It was a revolving door. I was in management, but I was making next to nothing. And definitely got to see a lot of new to me places, but it wasn't really a sustainable life working like that. So I went to Harrisburg, PA, which is where I still live, for another grassroots field organizing type job, just with a different company. It was to work for a nonprofit. I asked you about what makes your water so good. This organization is the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and our whole mission was to save the Chesapeake Bay. It still is, and I'm just not a part of it.
Cheers to that. I love this. I love the what's it called? I guess I don't love it that much.
Okay.
That crab. The horseshoe crab. Yeah, the horseshoe crab.
Oh,
Save and protect the horseshoe crab.
Yeah.
Is a big part of the Chesapeake Bay and the bird migration.
It definitely is an amazing place here in this country. But yeah, so I was working for them right up until I started brewing.
So you got to Harrisburg. Is that why you got interested in brewing? Were you interested before you got to Harrisburg? How did you just make the change?
Well, I started drinking craft beer towards the end of college. And then once I started moving around a lot and traveling a lot too, it wasn't just before the moving, I was also just traveling a lot, trying to figure out where to go, what to do. I was working as a bartender and just took 3 months off at a time and went and backpacked through Central America. And I did a road trip across the country after another few months of saving up money. So that was just kind of how I was living my life, very carefree after college.
Yeah.
But every time I found myself in a new place, even in like Central America, I was gravitating towards breweries, and that's where I would find people, even in a foreign language, to ask them like, what should I do around here? Where do I go? What can I do? Where's the good music at? Where are the things that I should see that aren't that touristy, et cetera, et cetera. So then that carried over, like as I was moving to new places. That's kind of how I established like where I would meet my people, who would become my people, I guess. And yeah.
So you had a real wanderlust phase. That's wanderlust?
Oh, yes.
That's wanderlust? Is that what that is?
Yes, I had Instagram in 2014, and I think I hashtagged everything wanderlust. That was
a time. That was a time.
It was glorious. And then I ended up in Harrisburg, and I was like, I'm just here for a year, like everywhere else. And this is year 11. So yeah, I think
something stuck for Harrisburg.
I have a question with your wanderlust and your craft beer. Is there any beer when you were overseas traveling out to you?
That's I will never forget. I loved this beer when I was in Guatemala. It was called Gallo, which means rooster. And it was another, like, I just love like the light crushable things. Even back then I did. But everywhere you went, you could get one of those, and it was just so solid and delicious. And I think about how difficult it has to be to make beer in a place like that, where high quality H2O is not the norm.
Yeah.
Went through a lot to get drinkable water,
Mhm.
and
Then they
also
use that to make beer.
access to
Yeah.
ingredients. Like,
Mhm.
I order grain and it arrives 3 business days later at the most. But in places like that, sourcing ingredients is like, you have to plan so far ahead.
Mm.
And that was just such a solid, consistent beer. Like,
Mhm.
in that country in particular, I was kind of like on a backpacking circuit. Like, I was on a super shoestring budget, just like I traveled around there until I ran out of money. And then once I ran out of money, I had to go home. And so everything I was doing was on the cheap. And that was the beer I was always gravitating towards because I could afford it. But it was consistent. I was in
Mhm.
all these different parts of the country and it always tasted the same. And I don't know if there's macro beer in Guatemala, but to me, like, that was just that it was so good. That was also the first place where I ever was introduced to the Michelada concept, where it's
Right.
like tomato juice in beer. And I'm
Mhm.
not like a huge fan of Bloody Marys in general, but I think the Micheladas that I had there made me become more of a fan of a Bloody Mary. Like,
Yeah, understood.
because I'm like, okay, I can appreciate tomato juice now.
It was a gateway drink.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I remember the first Michelada I had was like a gallo mixed with tomato juice, and then I just like jumped off of a cliff into Lake Attilon. And I'm like, oh, I could do this forever.
Okay,
And-
it
and
wasn't.
an
It
actual
wasn't
cliff.
because. Yeah, it wasn't because of the combination.
No, it was like
Okay, it was. It's just something that you do before you jump. It didn't cause you to jump. All right. I was like, don't drink. Micheladas are not. All right.
Now, I know hostels are a thing in Europe. Are they a thing in Central and
Yes.
South America?
That's what I did. I was
Okay.
staying at hostels, and you can like work at a hostel and then get to stay for free. So if you bartend a few nights at a hostel, like you get
Oh, that's nice.
accommodations, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was doing. I was like, I'll work. And my intention, my minor in college was Spanish, and by the time I graduated, I was dreaming in Spanish. So I was convinced at 22 years old that I was on the brink of becoming fluent, and I had literally no direction in life. And I was like, my goal is to become fluent in Spanish. This is what I want to do. And so that's why I went to a music festival and then met somebody who went to this music school to this language immersion school in Guatemala. And I was like, this is it. This is the next step for me. I will become fluent. So at Bonnaroo, I decided I was enrolling in Spanish school in Guatemala, and I did that. And then I went down there, and the school itself, like, it was wonderful. There's all this one-on-one tutoring. You stayed with a family, so there was just, and it was very immersive. But I made the mistake during my wanderlust phase of going to a lake for the weekend, and then I was like, I can't go back. I don't want to go back to school. I graduated school. I did that. I've done that.
Oh man.
All of a sudden, I'm just like stuck on this circuit of traveling this country. I did go back like 2 weeks later to get my things that were like, I kept paying my homestay family for my room. And then 2 weeks later, I was like, I don't think I'm coming back.
She drunk that Michelada and said, you know what?
Right. Jumped off the cliff into the lake
So
and wiped all that fluency out.
it's just it is one of the few places on earth where I've like this, my soul is connected with this place, and that lake was one of those places. It is.
It caused you to drop out of school.
How do you revisit that lake since?
It was kind of like pretend school. Like, I had already done.
As you drop out, it becomes more and more pretend.
That is so fair.
If you had the degree and you consider yourself fluent, it would not.
Yeah, the whole point was to become fluent, and so I convinced.
Are you fluent?
I was like, I can. No. I was like, I can become fluent. I just have to travel around. But once you do that, then all of a sudden, you're like interacting with other travelers, and they all speak English. Like, everybody in the world speaks English. It's crazy. Like, everybody knows how to speak that language. So that was just kind of the default, and really failed at the goal of that trip. But I was there for 3 months and I learned so much about life.
Yeah.
And
Still worth it.
even though I didn't learn everything I wanted to about Spanish.
Yeah.
I don't train in Spanish anymore, but maybe someday again I will.
Just get on Duolingo.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now you said beer at the end of college. So what was we always ask this, what was the craft beer that said, hey, I like craft beer?
Well, I went to the University of Kentucky. That's where I ended up at the end of my college career. So that's in Lexington. And when I graduated, there were 2 breweries. There were 2 craft breweries there at the time. There was Country Boy Brewing and West 6th Brewery. And both of them were just awesome, comfortable places that I could slide into and ask questions. Because at first, like, it felt super intimidating. I was working as a bartender, and the bar that I worked at was a restaurant. We had 4 taps and then a bunch of like bottles. Cans weren't a thing then. But our taps were Bud Light, Miller Lite, rotating Sam Adams, and Blue Moon. So like the most craft thing we had was the seasonal Sam Adams. And my whole perspective as an industry person back then was like, Sam Adams was craft, and they still are. They are craft, but I didn't know just like how much smaller you could go with that. And then one of my coworkers, like, we would go to bars and spend all of our tips like every single night. But then one day, one of my coworkers was like, hey, do you want to come to this brewery? And that was the first time that I realized like beer can be made at a much more micro scale. And so I started asking, I feel bad, like these poor owners and the people behind the bar, like I was just asking way too many questions, but everybody was very receptive to it, really easy to talk to and happy to explain what they were doing. And so, yeah, I would say Country Boy Brewing kind of like became my first brewery home. But that was only a few months before I ended up leaving. So it wasn't really like a long stint. So it was like I started drinking craft beer and then just like a few months later started bouncing all over the place and was always just trying to find
breweries,
local brewery wherever I was.
Yeah. Now, are you from Kentucky?
Yeah, I grew up in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's in Western Kentucky.
Nope.
2 hours west of Louisville.
Yep.
Okay, Louisville.
Yep. Louisville and Lexington.
Yeah.
Well,
It's closer to St. Louis than it is Cincinnati, so out there.
Is it closer to St. Louis than it is to Louisville?
No, Louisville's like 2 hours. Yeah, Louisville's like 2 hours away.
Okay.
St. Louis is.
Because Cincinnati's in Ohio, right? That's not in Kentucky. Okay, I was just making sure it wasn't a Cincinnati, Kentucky you were talking about. But that's because it's like us saying Philly is up because Philly's in a whole nother state too. Yeah, it's the same thing. I just was confused for a second because I'm in my mind, my geography doesn't have Ohio and Kentucky close. But I guess they are
Ohio's on top of Kentucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
We can unpack that later.
Yeah, if you wanna tell me why you hate Ohio so much.
I was actually born there. I spent like my life there, so.
That's funny. little jab at Ohio.
So once you got to Harrisburg after I guess the driving force of getting out of the grassroots advocacy was they wasn't paying you nothing. So the driver was. So what was the actual driver? I know you had said a little bit to say, hey, I think I want to get into the craft beer field and really, and that's where I really want to pivot to.
So I started bartending at the brewery that I was spending a lot of money at. I was bartending there mostly for an employee discount. And that was just like one night a week. And then as I started getting more and more into not just like being a person who was drinking there and like needed to leave at the end of the night, but then I'm like, okay, like I'm a part of this team now. I started asking a lot of questions about the brewing process and just a lot more technical stuff. And then anytime that there were things that I could help out with, like, oh, we're hand bottling this, or we're going to work on putting shelves together. I'm like, oh, I'm there. So I was literally like finding myself leaving my full-time job to make sure that I was available to help for these random projects. And I was super curious about how the beer was getting made and why certain things were happening. And the way that I learn is like very hands-on. And I just kind of wanted to be around it as much as I could. So then it kind of became a conversation with my full-time job. Like, what is your main priority? And I ended up choosing beer and left politics in 2016, which I do not regret.
Good time. Yeah, it was a good time. I remember 2016.
It's a weird year.
It was. It was a really good time to leave politics.
Yeah, true. So with the getting into the brewery and the craft beer industry, so when did you start, I guess, transitioning to actually start brewing beer? Like, was that, did you get a home brewing kit? Like,
and what brewery are we at where you like, I'm here more than my political job? What brewery isn't it still open?
The same brewery that I'm at right now.
Oh, Zero. Okay.
Zero Day. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been here for 9 years.
Okay, so
you sat down and never left.
Right, you started trying to get the discount, and then you just never left. Like, I'm here, I'm spending way too much money. Let me start working here so I can get a discount.
Yep.
And now I drink for what I still got my discount.
Yeah. No. Well.
Yeah, it's just a better discount now, I'm sure.
No, maybe not.
Not on here.
We'll go off your discount. But we know it's at least still 10%. We know it. We know that. Nope, maybe not.
Sure, like a discount. All right.
Tough times, guys.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We digress. Back to the conversation at hand.
Right, because 0 Day is like in a transition period, correct? It did switch.
Yeah.
So, all right. I remember Malik saying something about it was the shutter, the tap room or something. So just production only.
There was a tap room. Okay, so when I started, the tap room was in the same building that the brewery was in, and then in 2020 they knocked that all down and built a brand new tap room. Well, they didn't knock it all down. They knocked down a wall and expanded the brewery into the tap room space. Built a new tap room a couple blocks away with a full service restaurant, and ran that for 5 years. And at the end of the 5-year lease, decided not to re-sign the lease. So that's where we're at now. Is we still have a production facility and are making great beer. Sorry, I have a visitor. Making great beer, distributing, really leaning into that. And then we have 2 smaller retail locations that are not as big as a tap room. They're like 6 tap locations, but.
And it's your beers at those locations. Okay.
Beer, hop water, seltzer. Try to keep it kind of mixed up. But
I'm sorry, Rob. How many beers do you guys have available currently? Because you said you have 6 on tap at those 2 tap rooms, but how many beers are available?
Is he frozen?
No.
Am I frozen?
No, we can hear you.
Did nobody heard me?
I heard you.
Oh, I said how many beers are available currently through 0 Day?
Oh, like out in distro?
Distribution. Because I know you were saying you have in the tap rooms that you guys have is 6 beers on tap.
Gotcha.
Is it more than 6 or is it just those 6?
So we have 6 taps. We have 4 beers on usually, then our hop water and a seltzer.
Okay.
Out in distribution, there's guaranteed 5 like flagship beers that you can get, but we also have more experimental stuff that we try to mix it up with.
Mhm.
We like to do sours and just fun stuff that we're
Yeah.
inspired by. So we actually just pre-sold an entire batch of beer before it was even out of the barrels that it was aging in, which
Awesome.
I think is like a super huge accomplishment and something to celebrate. It was replicating a beer that we made last year as like a one-off. We had tequila barrels. We came up with this Goza recipe
Ooh.
and put it in tequila barrels, and it was strong and it was delicious and it was a big hit. And we took it to a beer fest up in State College, and someone tried it there and they're like, I want this on tap at all of the bars that I own. And so now it's on tap at like 6 different bars in State College. That's the entire batch that we had in barrels for this round of making it. So we ended up getting some more and we're doubling it up so that we can have some for ourselves.
I want that.
Entire batch of beer sold before
Yeah.
it even is packaged. That's the first time that's ever happened in the 10 years that we've been open. And I think it's a huge accomplishment, and just says a lot about the quality and the creativity of the beer that's coming out of there right now. Like the beer is really good, and it's something to be celebrated. And I will scream that as loud as I possibly can.
So what was the first beer that you brewed? Like, what was the first beer that you actually brewed in, either in distribution or just in general?
I mean, I brewed, like, learning how to brew. I was brewing all of the recipes that came before me, right? I remember the first beer that I ever mashed in was a beer called Large Ass IPA.
The mumble's funny.
It was like 12.5%.
Wow.
Long IPA. Crowd favorite. But my first recipe that I ever came up with on my own, it was a Hefeweizen, like a kind of like one of those gateway beers. Like Blue Moon was one of those beers for me. Like my first true craft beer that I loved was a Stone IPA. Once I had Stone, I was like, this is awesome. What is this? And then I went to Ruination, like Stone Ruination, so double IPA. I'm like, this is crazy, or like, what is this? And I fell in love with that brewery. But Blue Moon was kind of that beer that was like Bud Light, Miller Lite. I hated all of those beers that taste like beer when I was in college. I didn't want anything to do with those.
Yeah, yep.
And I didn't like the way that tasted. But when I had Blue Moon, I was like, okay, I think I might be able to appreciate beer. And so that was kind of why I wanted to make a Hefeweizen, because that was kind of like a gateway beer for me, something super approachable. And it is one of the beers that we still make today. It's called When Did We Get a Dog? Which is a super funny, silly name. That it's long, but everybody sees that name and they're like, oh, but a lot of people have like a relatable story to that. Someone brought a dog home, or, whatever. So it's just silly. But yeah, that's my first recipe.
Oh, nice. So I don't know what that is.
Sorry, it's my computer. I don't know how to make it. It's my.
Nobody else reacted. I thought I was going crazy.
I was reacting. I was going crazy. I was
in a group of text, and it's like chiming through the computer.
What's going on?
Just like,
Hannah, Rob said earlier what your title is for the brewery, but what is your actual title? Then I have a question.
For Zero Day?
Yes.
Director of Brewing Operations.
Because that didn't make me think that you were a brewer. So what do you do for Zero Day?
Well,
what's your day to day?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. I would say I'm more of like a production manager. I make the schedules, order the ingredients, communicate with the distributor, maintain the inventory of like raw materials and finished product, order all the cans, the labels, work with the graphic designer, all of the like boring behind the scenes stuff of making sure that we have everything we need to make beer. I do that. Also we're constantly having conversations about quality, and I think that there's a lot of room for growth there with just like maybe establishing some SOPs for like how frequently we're doing certain things and how many people we're asking to taste certain things. So that's kind of one of the goals of mine is to like expand our QA stuff that we're already doing.
Sidebar, you just said tasters. Do you need more tasters?
Oh yeah, always. More is better.
You got three black guys right here that want to taste your beer every time you want to give it to us. Yes.
I will do that. We will send it.
Yes.
I still brew, so I don't
Okay.
brew most of the beer that comes out of Zero Day right now. But I can and I still do sometimes, but my everyday isn't going and producing wort. I do a lot of seller stuff. I'll package, I'll do transfers. I will produce wort when I don't want to say when I need to, but like when it makes sense. But there's a lot of other stuff that I'm doing and our demand isn't high enough where two of us are hot side every day. I mean, our demand is high enough where one of us is hot side every day. You know, we've been tasked with also becoming salespeople as of late. So that's a new addition to my job responsibilities is to go out and time position at a small company. I mean, you're going to wear a lot of hats and mine have, depending on what the makeup of our team looks like. I mean, I went from being an assistant brewer to brewing all the beer on my own to being a production manager to then again brewing all the beer on my own to now being a production manager and a salesperson and this like it's
always something new.
It's ever evolving.
Yeah. So in that vein, if you came in tomorrow and you could do whatever you wanted to do in the brewery, what would you want to do? But besides sit down and drink.
Yeah, I mean, like I have two sides of this that I appreciate equally the same. I love a start to finish hot side brew day. Like that's probably my number one pick. However, a stacked cellar day where you're just like bopping around and you have to like make everything just flow so that you get out of there in 8 hours and you're working as efficiently and as crazily fast as possible. Like I love those days too. Yeah, just movement, like, and not just for like filling in, but like a full on, hot side or cold side day. Am I?
I'll take that.
Politics for a while.
I'm tired of sitting at a desk, but I understand that it's, you know, where my life has taken me. Oh, I also like move beer around, like our different locations. I'm like the schlepper of the beer. So I get to like lift a bunch of heavy shit and put it back down. Those days are fun, but you know.
You say those days are fun?
Oh, that was sarcasm. We're getting to know you, Hannah. We're getting to know you.
I thought maybe she really enjoyed it. Like I love it.
I do love lifting.
My third favorite.
Like, I do lift weights, so it is kind of like an aside. Like I'm like this is what I do for fun. So at least I get to do it at work too. But it's not really that fun at work.
So you're like a deadlifter or something?
I mean, I guess I don't know. Like not competitively, but yes, I do deadlift. And
what's those personal best? Throw them out there.
Deadlifting 285.
Damn.
Okay.
Squat 215.
Damn.
I have bench pressed 135 pounds, which I'm
that too.
But I don't ever do that.
You don't ever do that?
Well, I need to really learn how to deadlift a little bit safer. Like I'm not trying to max out anymore. I'm trying to like practice form right now. That's where I'm at. So
gotcha.
Right. So once you've practiced forming it right, then you're gonna go back to throwing all those plates.
Yeah,
yes.
300. You're gonna get to that 301.
I've joked at work for like the last 6 months that my goal for the end of the year was to be able to deadlift Malik. That's I don't know how much he weighs, and obviously, like, I can't do that in actual practice. But
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could lay down, Malik.
Yeah. No, just tell him to get on the scale and write the number down on a piece of paper. That's it. Then
I would love
put
to
the
be
weight
able
on
to
the scale.
like deadlift all of my coworkers. I think it'd be so cool for Instagram too. Like you just go through like people lined up in a row.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, that is a good little reel. You got the person there, and that person's 110, and then you go, wow, throw that thing up there, then you go all the way up to the 420 pound thing. Got it. Yeah, I like that's a viral. That goes viral. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So with your new role in terms of, well, I guess now it's not really new because you've been there about 10 months, you said, or so. So what made you pivot back in pretty much politics, but in the beer world?
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that, Rob.
So that's a great question. When I started brewing full time, I started going to these Brewers of Pennsylvania meetings, attending them like as an observer, basically, just because it connected what I had been doing to what I was currently learning. And after a few years, I ended up joining a committee. I joined the legislative committee, which was a really natural next step. And then a few years after that, I joined the board of directors. And I don't know.
Yeah, we know. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. We both used to have daughters your age, so we understand. And they have both interrupted our podcast at one point.
That's true.
So I joined the board of directors and got to see a lot of like the inner workings of the organization, kind of from the inside out. And I saw a lot of room for improvement and just how a lot of things hadn't changed. They kind of since their inception, and after a little while, they were looking for leadership change, and I put my name in the running because I thought that someone with my perspective could be a really good fit for the job. And I think I sold myself really well, but I'm also really, really humble in where like, I will admit that I know nothing about how to run an association. And that I needed a lot of, patience and understanding from that side before like I was to hit the ground running. So I had this.
It smells so bad in here.
Okay. So I had this like sorry.
It's fine.
It's totally fine. It's okay.
She has a yoga mat out where she has arranged 8 Slim Jims in the shape of like a octagon.
All right.
She must have watched Ronda Rousey last night.
She said it smells weird. I'm like, it's probably the tube meat.
Slim Jims, yeah. Tube meat. Yes. Tube meat always smells weird. Oh man.
I'm sorry. I raised my daughter on my own, on top of working these 2 jobs. So
happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. She celebrated me. She made me breakfast.
Nice.
She cleaned it up herself too. So that was cool. This was the first Mother's Day. This is my 7th Mother's Day. She's 6. It's my 7th Mother's Day with her Earth side. And this is the first one where
you're the first person to recognize the 7th.
Yeah. She's like, what? I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. And it was so freaking awesome. Like it was the coolest day ever.
That's good.
It has energy has kind of carried over throughout the week. So
it keeps getting better too. It keeps getting better the older they get until it doesn't, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
So over the time you've been the executive director, what are some of the things that you have accomplished, or you set out to accomplish and have, or at least are on the path to accomplish, and what are the things that you still have open that you would like to get done?
The biggest focus this year is trying to increase our membership in our organization. Like in a lot of them, since COVID has been way down. Okay. So memberships have gone down, and then attendance at events have gone down. Right. So, just trying to meet people where they are, make events more accessible, more affordable, and then trying to drive membership. So we're doing that through a number of different ways. The component of meeting people where they are is we are having more regional focus meetings where we divide up the state and go into places where people are, and not just like having one giant meeting be the only opportunity where they can find us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I pause this for a second just to turn something off that is like driving me insane? I'm so cool. So yeah, we're hosting a series of regional meetings where we're meeting people where they are, trying to just make the access to the educational content more accessible. We also, as a way to try to get breweries engaged who either have never been a part of the Brewers Pennsylvania or who were but have not been active as of late, we offered a free year of membership to try to encourage more people to come out and see what we're doing, understand it, and appreciate it. So those are probably the two biggest things that are different. We also had the Craft Brewers Conference happening in our state this year, which was a huge deal. And when I took over as executive director in July of last year, it was right after CBC was in Indianapolis, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's in Philly. Like, we're coming to your state." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, haha, cool. Can't wait to have you." And then I was excited, I was motivated, but I had no idea how much work was going to go into making sure that was done right.
Yeah,
I think that we really capitalized on a lot of awesome opportunities with being able to host CBC in Philly. We met so many brewers from all over the country, but we really did capture so many Pennsylvania brewers right here in our backyard. We had our annual meeting in Philadelphia during CBC, and we had Sam Calgione give a keynote speech, and we had twice as many people at that meeting as we did at our annual meeting last year. And just, I think the whole motto is really just trying to meet people where they are and understand where they are. And I think that I have a really unique perspective in that, as I come from a background of brewing and working boots on the ground, and still do. So yeah, I mean, there's so much more that I want to accomplish. I want to see, I'm sorry. I need to pause again. What is wrong? Just set it.
3 episodes is way too short. Am I right? Am I right?
Octagon.
Like
there's like a seance or something.
What you watch?
Try to bring Randy Savage back.
Did Ronda Rousey? I didn't watch the fight. Did she win?
You didn't have to.
Was it a fight?
17 seconds.
Not even a shot clock.
Yeah, she tapped out real early.
She wasn't ready at all.
She got that arm bar and said, "I'm out." No, you ain't gonna break
I knew that's how it was gonna be.
Yeah, that's all she does. That's what Ronda got. She's the best in the world at it. She still is the best in the world at it. If you get caught up, believe me, your arm gonna get broke. That was ridiculously fast. It was like Mike Tyson out here.
Yeah, she said, "I got my money. I ain't gonna get my arm broken. I got the Netflix money. I'm out."
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like she threw her arm out there. Just take it. Just take it and try to let me tap now. Come on. Right. I don't want to get the punch in the face.
I'm about to ask a question.
I got one if you don't.
Yeah, you got.
Well, you asked like what we want to accomplish with the BOP, and I don't think I really answered that yet.
Okay, go ahead.
We're really trying this year to increase our membership and to try to help breweries understand the importance of a state guild all over again. In Pennsylvania, we're a really great state to open a brewery in. We have so many rights as brewers. It's a really favorable state, and that's because of our administration and legislation that we've gotten passed. in the past. So when you're a newer brewery and you're walking into this really favorable environment, you're like, why does a guild matter for me? But now we have a couple of new initiatives that are moving through the state legislature, and there's a lot of momentum and excitement behind that. And I think that even if we're not doing it in a defensive way, where it's like, oh, we're trying to protect this thing, but just like, as there is so much power in numbers, and when we can work together, those voices just multiply exponentially. With this bill that just passed the House a couple of weeks ago, one of the biggest, most critical things that we had local guilds, so like regional county guilds, sign on to letters of support, and you just saw the voices of support like multiply exponentially. And so that's a big thing that we're trying to do, is work with other organizations within the industry. We're trying to make sure that we're working with our local guilds and supporting them, and then also asking them for support when we need it too, and just trying to make sure that we're meeting people where they are and asking what they're looking for, and just trying to evolve as this is our 15th year. So a lot has changed in the last 15 years. So it's time for us to change too.
Let me ask you a question. With the spotlight being on Philadelphia this year because of 250 and everything that's coming to Philadelphia, is that one of the organization's push to like see if they can, how do you get more PA area beers into Philadelphia? Is that one of the things that you also advocate as well, or like?
I mean, you mean with PA 250, like, are we trying to push more like beer from outside of Philly in? We haven't been focused on that. I think that our main goal, like when there's legislation for expanding hours of operation for like the special permits, especially when it had to be like World Cup. I don't think that was, I should know this, but I don't think that was 250 related. I think it was more World Cup related.
Yeah, it was World Cup related.
But like we are in support of what breweries can do to sell their beer in as many ways as possible. And like Beard of America 250 right now, but we aren't necessarily driving any of that. We're just kind of supporting it where we see it popping up. If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
I have a question, and this may sound stupid. Is executive director equivalent to president?
We have no. That's a great question. That is a great question.
Thank you so much.
Because I know when people look up. So I will say this. One of my friends, she works for a nonprofit, and they were having some kind of gala, and she was like, I want to invite my friend. She's the executive director of this organization. And her coworker looked it up. She's like, no, she's not. This person's the president. And she's like, no, those are two different positions. So that is a really fair question, because someone that I know has seen this play out in real life.
Okay.
Our president is a volunteer. He is elected, and as is like the rest. So he's a board member. He is on the board of directors. So is the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer. We have a board of directors. There are 11 people. They are technically my boss, but I am paid, and I am the executive director who I'm not elected. I am hired.
Like day-to-day operations type of thing.
Yeah, day-to-day operations. Yes, day-to-day operations.
And is it a tenure or a contract?
It's a contract.
Okay, how long is can you say how long it is, or is that available for public knowledge, or no?
I don't know why it wouldn't be. It signed a 2-year contract.
Okay, all right. So you got 2 years to do your job.
All right. Another question I have for you, and this is it's changing gears a little bit. I've been here for over 9 years. Have you seen change or growth and diversity and inclusion in the craft beer industry?
Positively or negatively?
Yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster for sure. When I first started in 2016, now granted, like it's just me getting into the industry. So I didn't know a ton of people. So I'm not going to say there weren't hardly any female brewers, but I will say that I only knew of one other female brewer anywhere in this state. Her name consequently like happened to be not consequently, but like coincidentally, I don't know.
Coincidentally.
Her name was also Hannah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I didn't really know any other female brewers. There were others at the time. I just didn't really know them. But I will say there for sure are more local female brewers than there were back then. I also really struggled with the whole "you are a woman in beer" thing especially when I first started. I really just wanted to learn how to make beer and be a brewer and just be seen as a brewer and not anything different than a brewer. Because I felt like I had a lot to prove and I didn't want the female part of it to like take away from anything. I didn't want to be seen as like, oh, well, she's doing good. She's a good brewer for a woman, you know, like I wanted to be a good brewer. And I was really insecure with my capabilities and abilities at that time. So, you know, I really struggle with that whole identity side of it. I started brewing in 2016. I became pregnant in 2019. And that is when...
Yep, with her.
And that is when I really accepted, okay, there are things about me that are different than my male counterparts. Like I have to navigate pregnancy and like doing this very manual job. And like coming back from that too, like coming back from giving birth. So the company that I worked for did not have a parental leave policy. They did not have, nobody knew what to do about navigating pregnancy and working a production job. So I tried to look at different resources online. I couldn't find anything. So I went to my doctor and my doctor said, you can do anything that you were doing before you were pregnant while you are pregnant until your body tells you can't.
Right.
I listened to my doctor and I brewed up until I was 34 weeks pregnant. And then I was like, you know what? I cannot squat down it wasn't lifting. It was like being on the ground and manipulating valves that like last 6 weeks. Like I just could not do it anymore. But I navigated that. And then I had 6 weeks paid time off and I came back 6 weeks after giving birth. And I mean, it was super empowering, like to rediscover your body and like just remember like how capable you are. But beer is also a living thing. And I'm kind of weird when I make beer. Like when I'm milling in, I'm like putting my hands over the grain and like feeling the energy. And I think that like coming back after giving birth, like I was really, really just in tune with the spiritual side of what goes into making beer and like the physical limitations. I don't know. Like I was able to just figure it out. I wasn't asking people to lift stuff for me and I am absolute, like, I mean, I'm 6.5 years almost postpartum, but like I'm way stronger than ever before. But I think there's, my journey as a woman in beer is a very, very personal one for me, as it is all about my experience of becoming a mother. And I know that not every woman in beer wants that or has that journey for whatever reason. So that's really hard for me because to answer like as a collective whole, like I've learned how to embrace my femininity as a woman in beer, and I feel very strong. But when I go to technical meetings and I look around, there still aren't a lot of people who look like me or who, I mean, I have come a long way. As the industry as a whole, I think there are a lot of awesome things that are happening, but I do think that there could be more resources out there for those things that do make women different, and how to kind of navigate that. I mean, looking back, a lot of people had told me like, oh, well, you could have contacted someone at AB, or like there are definitely brewers who are working for Miller Coors who have been pregnant. I'm like, that's cool, but like, how do I get in touch with someone at Miller Coors? Like, I have no idea,
Right.
So I think there are more women in craft beer, but I don't think that we're talking about all of the things that we should be talking about in a really tangible way to make it known that like you can still have kids if that's what you want to do, and you don't have to quit doing this thing that you love. It's not easy, but it's not unprecedented, and you just have to listen to your body. And I don't know, I just want to be a little bit louder about that, and I think that maybe we could be a little bit further along.
All right.
I agree with that.
All right. Anything else you want to share with?
That was the soapbox. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
No, that's you have this. You got a platform. You get an hour and a half. You can talk about whatever you want.
Lou, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I do. When you said regions, how many regions are in Pennsylvania? Is a big state. How many regions are in Pennsylvania for you guys?
It is a big state, and that is a great question. So when I first drew it up, I kind of drew it up as like 6 regions, but there's this really awesome marketing initiative coming out from it's called Brew PA or PA Brews. I'm so sorry. I should know exactly what it's called, but one or the other. And it's a brand new initiative, but they have taken the state and divided it up into 8 regions. And so that's kind of how I am trying to see Pennsylvania, because I think that this is going to be pushed out there pretty far and wide. And I don't really want to just come up with our own geographical lines. I kind of want to like build off of that and kind of flow into that and make sure that we're kind of working in tandem with that initiative. So yeah, I would say there's 8.
Okay.
8 regions in Pennsylvania.
Gotcha.
Does a person have to be a brewer or a member of a brewery to be in the guild? Can it just be a fan of craft beer that lives in Pennsylvania?
So they have had that type of membership in the past. There are brewery members. There are associate members who are like vendors or like businesses that work within or alongside of the industry.
Okay.
And then there have been enthusiast members. And I will say that the enthusiast membership, that is actually how I joined. When I started in 2016, I joined as an enthusiast member. And yeah, I think I was supposed to get a t-shirt and I never got that. So whatever.
You guys are good at yourself now.
Right. Now I gotta go find that t-shirt. But that hasn't been like a super active thing, but I do think it is worth revisiting. Because we've talked about that, and then also like the homebrewer level of membership too.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But like individuals, like I found myself as an individual who was like a little too shy to ask her company at first if she could be a part of it. So I think a lot of potential there, but it wasn't really something that I kind of walked into. So I haven't really revisited it yet.
Gotcha. Now I did have a question, and I just remembered it. With the changing, I guess, demographics and shifting in craft beer and how people respond to it, is there something that the Brewers of PA, are there like resources that people can like? How do you help with breweries dealing with that reality of the shifting craft beer industry?
I'm sorry. With shifting like consumers or people working within the industry?
Well, more about but the consumers, the industry shifting, the changes on that kind of nature, like people moving to THC stuff and more seltzers and stuff like that. How how do you help with that, I guess?
We try to keep our finger on the pulse of like all of the legal changes, the legislative changes that are happening as far as it comes to all that stuff. Our biggest goal for the guild is that we are promoting initiatives that allow Pennsylvania brewers to run their businesses as fluidly and in as many different ways as possible. So we're never going to tell a brewery like, you need to manufacture RTDs or you need to consider selling Pennsylvania made wine or whatever. But we will advocate for our members to have as many rights as possible to be able to make the decisions that are best for their individual businesses. As far as THC goes, right now we're taking a firm stance in that we are following the Brewers Association's lead on this right now, and we don't. There's no like. We're kind of following their lead, as you know, things are not legal federally.
Right.
There's no real big push for that.
Mhm.
We are actively wanting to be at the table and a part of these conversations. And I do think that it's safe to say that if any new products come to market that are of that can be legally produced, I think that brewers would want to be able to have the rights to produce them on their equipment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That I'm saying, like, that is not like an official on the record thing, but I think that makes a lot of sense.
These are Hannah Ison's thoughts.
Yeah. You
All
need
right.
to
Any
be able
more
to do what
questions
you
from
can to
you?
survive, right? So
I do have one more question. I know of three black owned breweries in Pennsylvania, and I know of one great Brewfest Barrel and Flow in Pittsburgh. Is there anything on the agenda for the next 14 months that includes diversity and trying to help these breweries and the other new and burgeoning black owned and women owned breweries try to just excel and be successful?
you mean as far as it comes with the Brewers of Pennsylvania?
Yes.
No, I don't think there's anything like just specifically focused on that. I know a lot of these people and I try to just talk to them as like humans and include people like on a personal and professional level as best as I can. But we don't have an active DEI committee. I think really, really helpful. But I'm a staff of one.
Mhm.
I'm a woman in beer who has been making beer for 9 years, and my counterpart at my brewery is a Black man who is super involved with the Master Brewers Association. And so we have like a lot of overlap there with like who we interact with. And I think that I try to just like approach as many people as I can in like a really human kind of way. But as far as like wide scale initiatives, there's nothing formally on paper about that.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Cool.
kind of getting started.
Yep.
But it is like definitely something that is obviously super, well, not obviously, but that's a very fair question. But
We'll get there.
I hope so.
Yep. We got 14 months.
All right. All right. Any more questions, Lou?
I do have one more. This is about Zero Day Brewing, because you guys have the flagships, and then you were talking about the tequila goes that you guys made. How does a new recipe come about through you guys? Like, is it like somebody just says, "Hey, I got a recipe," and we have a meeting about it? Like, how does one new recipe come from to get the list?
Yeah. So there's no like just standard process, I guess. I think everything at Zero Day takes some time. But when there's inspiration behind something, we're definitely not afraid to share that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I love hearing like, I want to make a beer that tastes like this. Or I love saying, I want to make a beer that tastes like this. And then when there's also like, when someone else is excited about it, that's where it takes off. And then, but what I try to do to encourage that, the whole recipe design part of it, like I try to take the conversation off site. Like, let's get out of the brewery. Let's go to another brewery, drink someone else's beer, eat some food, and talk about what we want this beer to taste like. That's what we did with that tequila barrel aged Goza. And that beer is so special because we also released that beer, like a version of that beer that did not go into tequila barrels. But the way we designed the recipe was so very intentionally made for it to go into barrels that the Goza itself was good. But when you drink it, you're like, there's just a little something missing. And it was the flavor of tequila.
Yeah.
So obvious. But I think when you're really intentional about how you design a beer, there's just so many things like at your fingertips that you can use to make it taste and feel exactly how you want it to. And I love having those conversations. Recipe design is my absolute favorite part of making beer. And it was the thing that I was the most intimidated by at the beginning. I was like, there is absolutely no way that I will ever
mommy time.
that I will ever be able to know how to do this. And I think I'm pretty good at it now. And I love facilitating those conversations, and I love designing beers with other people.
That's what's up. I like
it's so much more fun with other people too than it's just by yourself. Like I love the back and forth, and yeah.
All right. Well, before we go, we always like to give a little segment I like to call off topic but not off flavor. So I have a couple of questions. One, scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Lindsay Lohan are you?
Lindsay Lohan? Like now Lindsay Lohan?
Only because I see the picture on the wall and that looked like Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, that's Maggie Rogers.
Oh, it's Maggie Rogers. I was like,
I'm a huge fan. She's one of my favorite artists. Music artists.
Which actually brings me to my next question. Who are your top 5 artists today?
My top 5 artists, like musical artists?
Musical artists.
All right.
Duh, Maggie Rogers.
Duh.
That's just one.
I mean, I'm still, I think it's okay. Like, I'm a huge Kanye fan when it comes to music. I think that's okay to say. Like,
That's fine.
That he's not a genius?
Yes.
I can still appreciate that, right? Because I do.
Yeah.
What?
Kendrick.
What?
Those are probably some top 2 for sure.
Ow.
I love.
You're moving my loose too.
Okay, go pull your tooth.
Yeah.
It's such a hard question to answer. I do love Maggie Rogers. She's like an independent indie pop artist. I don't even know how to explain her. But
I know Maggie Rogers.
Now you say it.
I think I played her on the podcast once or twice.
Yeah, I believe
Really?
so. I believe
that
so.
was the first concert I ever took my daughter to, was that poster. We were 3rd row at the Man in Philly. And now every time I take her to a show, she's like, if we're not sitting up front, she's like, this isn't rock and roll.
No, you
was a
spoiled her.
thing.
Yeah, you spoiled the baby.
Spoiled her. She was like 3.5 years old. We're at that venue by ourselves. It was a magical night. But
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Kanye, Kendrick, Maggie Rogers. I am a huge fan of this punk band. I don't even know. Punk. They're not pop. Punk, Americana, folksy band from New Jersey called the Gaslight Anthem. Brian Fallon is their lead singer. They're just, I love them. Who else? Like, who would be my
Got one more.
5? You said today, so I'm not saying this is like all time, but today I'm listening to this really random person that I can't even figure out what he's doing, but his name is Corto Alto, which I think means like short, tall, but like it's just this like jazz pop infusion, like
Spell Corto.
Corto K Corto. So
Okay.
ALTO. It's really weird, but I'm really into it right now. So that's definitely not like an all-time fave. I mean, maybe if they become like super famous, I'm like, yeah, I called it. But
You
it's
got
just
that
like
in your pocket, just in
there's a new album and just kind of like on repeat right now for me. But it's just out there.
So when you were brewing, is it a silent brewery or did you have a specific song that you love to brew too?
I always listen to music while I brew. I still do. It's especially if I'm the only one in there. Like if I come in, like I'm never the first person in the brewery anymore. So it feels weird to like come in and be like, all right, I'm cleaning a tank and I'm taking over the playlist, you know? So like, but like when it was just me in there, I was always listening to music and picking it. So
Did you have a go-to song or go-to artist?
not really a go-to song. I mean,
Or style? Or maybe style, maybe.
I think pop is probably the style that I would gravitate towards. Like if I was gonna just not listen to an album, but just like put on something radio, I would probably put on like Bloody Trees and just listen to something like that. Like
cheers.
But
All right.
I make my own playlist sometimes too, you know. But
All right. And last one, what was the last movie you watched?
Zombies 4 with my daughter.
All right. I've seen it.
On my own, man, I don't even know. When was the last time I watched a movie for me? I have no idea.
That's about right.
Yeah.
I know the last movie I watched in theaters was Sinners, and I loved that movie.
Yeah, that was good.
But
That was good.
music and that was insane. I learned things about Irish music that I did not know I needed to learn, but apparently I did. So that's cool.
All right. Once again, we want to thank you, Hannah Ison, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Before we go, we always like to how people can find you on these world wide webs, these social media, all that good stuff. How can they find more about you?
Where can people find more about me?
Yeah.
Yes.
And organization and all that kind of good stuff.
I have Instagram. My Instagram handle is beer making
Mama, there you go. All right.
beer making mama. And yeah, that would probably be
Beer making chihuahua.
that's not it.
Oh,
That was
for the
really
dog.
quick run. No, that was that quick run.
Beer making chihuahua.
All right.
Beer making chihuahua.
I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine.
And how can they find more about the organization, the Brewers of Pennsylvania?
So you can follow us at Brewers of PA.
I still think her name is Brew Making Chihuahua.
At Brewers of PA.
All right. And 0 Day?
At 0 Day Brewing.
There you go.
Awesome.
All right, Lou.
You can find me on Lou Belgium on the Instagrams and at Brewsing Banter Patreon. Cheers.
And
I'm so sorry that this was so unconventional.
No worries.
No, it's been
We are
a
unconventional.
blast. Yeah, it's been a blast. Don't even worry about it.
Because of me.
Yep, because of you. Yes.
You can find Brewsing Banter Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Brewsing Banter Podcast. You can go to www.brewsingbanter.com. You can also go to Patreon/Brewsing Banter if you want to support the podcast. You can listen to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can say, Alexa, play Brewsing Banter Podcast because we are on there as well. You can also get merch on www.brewsingbanter like this, like you got, like I got on. If you want to follow me, Rob Stay Brewsing. I think it's here, somewhere over there. That's it. Shout out to 302 Yoda. This has been another episode of Brewsing Banter Podcast. Until next time.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Pull it up, that's the last call. Women 10 to the world, yeah, we said it all. Rob, Blue, and Yoda, 3 deep at the bar. Brewsing Banter, baby, you know who we are. From the hops to the bars to the box scores, talking culture like we did this 300 times before. Craft beer in the cup, popping the soul. 302 to the phone settle, that's how we roll. No script, no filter, just the truth on tap. Lou bring the knowledge, Yoda bring the gap between what you thought and what you about to learn. Stay tuned, stay thirsty till it's our turn. So pour it up, pour it out, till we meet again. Brewsing Banter, your favorite podcast. Cheers.